What's good? What's good? As January 6th descends upon us and masses of angry and motivated people begin to coalesce into the protests that are brewing, I've seen some interesting alliances being formed, and that's kind of a good thing. The enemy of my enemy, for now, can be my ally. A friend put it to me this way, that Antifa and the Boogaloo Boys united could be a powerful force, and I don't disagree with them. I think if they could sit down and talk to one another civilly in a safe atmosphere, they would come to realize they have more in common than they initially think. We're about to get that opportunity, I believe, because both sides of the population are angry. The left and the right. There has been a surge in populism propelled by the exposing of the corruption embedded in our political institutions and establishments that has began to permeate like a cancer through our other organizations and agencies, through elites, non-profit organizations, and non-governmental organizations, and shell companies, and all these other ways that money is being extracted from the average American and funneled into the pockets of the ruling class. The people of this country are being exploited. They're being manipulated. There are useful idiots on both sides who don't realize they're fighting each other is exactly what allows the ruling class to continue to screw us, to oppress us. Divide and conquer has been a tactic of the elites for hundreds, if not thousands of years. And here we have an opportunity on January 6th to come together, to unite, to ally against the actual common enemy, which is the government. In my previous videos, I have been talking about conquering thyself. If you have conquered yourself, or if you're on a path to conquering yourself, you will best know how you as an individual will be able to contribute to what is to come. I am not advocating for any specific sort of action. I am advocating for you to look inside of yourself and ask, what can I bring to the table to non-violently overthrow the establishment? Martin Luther King, he was the fucking man. I understand that there's also some drama associated with him, and he wasn't entirely non-violent. I am not entirely non-violent. I love this expression, very much so. It is better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. Anarchists are not pacifists, or some are and some aren't. A lot of them subscribe to the idea that they do not initiate the use of force. Initiate the use of force. A lot of them will defend themselves. You should defend yourself from tyranny and oppression, regardless of where it comes from or if it is sanctioned by the state. One has a moral obligation to stand up to laws that are unjust. How will you proceed? Who will feed the Gestapo? There is a growing hate for our military members and our police officers and our members of all the organizations, intelligence agencies, and there's a good reason for that. They are complicit in perpetuating the systems that are fucking the people. You are not innocent either. If you shop at companies that utilize slave labor or sweatshops, you are also complicit in perpetuating these unconscious systems that have allowed the matrix of Western culture to exist and grow and become cancerous. Technology has exposed the dark side of the past 10, 20, 100,000 years. We have upon us an opportunity for a collective awakening, an upgrade to the collective consciousness. And it comes down to the individual. That is why I am so anti-communist, because a self-actualized individual, an empowered and self-actualized individual, will know how best to contribute to their community and their society. And so right now, how can you contribute to this opportunity that we have been presented with? How can you bury the hatchet? How can you extend olive branches? How can you construct these allyships that will be necessary? Who will feed the Gestapo? Who will house their families? If you have the resources to help, the best way we can de-radicalize these police officers and these military members is to offer them a path out, because they probably have families that need food, that need shelter. We all are struggling. So when Antifa in Portland is fucking angry, I feel you, bros and broettes. I get it. And when people in the South are angry and they're rioting, I feel you too. We have a common enemy, and it is not each other. It is the ruling class and the government. The mainstream media, the propaganda apparatus has brainwashed you. It is easier to convince someone that... It is easier to fool someone than it is to convince someone they have been fooled. So when you feel attacked by being criticized for being brainwashed, I understand that. That's not an attack that creates so much cognitive dissonance. But if you're plugged in to what CNN and Fox News is saying, you're likely woefully misinformed. They craft a very specific narrative and they frame it in a way to get you agitated and to get you riled up. Shout out to my friend Adam over at SYFT, SYFT news.com, where he is building an algorithm that removes emotion from the assessment of our news articles, so that way you can get straight to the facts and data. I remember 10 to 15 years ago, it was cool and edgy to joke about, yeah, man, you're just brainwashed. And it was like somewhat cool to be countercultural. But the conversation always stopped there. It was always like this like superficial vice signal. But now that we have hit a time where the propaganda is clear and where the effects are clear, we don't know how to exit it. It's like the allegory in the cave, the allegory of the cave by Plato. Go look into that if you're not familiar. So I regret not doing more in the past, but also I was a 16-year-old kid who was talking about politics while the grown-ups around me were saying, don't worry about it, there's nothing you can do. There is a general nihilistic sort of lesser of two evils narrative that has been controlling us for generations. Now is the time, if there has ever been one, for a third party or for some sort of movement to rise up. We need a movement of unity, a movement of love, a revolution of compassion and humanity. We are capable of it. Humans are capable of so much love. They are capable of so much joy. They are capable of so much creation and so much beauty, but they have been suppressed. You have been put down by these stupid feudalistic systems. Feudalism 2.0. We're just serving the kings and queens of the technocratic age. There is a way out. And it starts within. And then it moves into loving your neighbor and building allyships, unions, strength in numbers, the power of the people. We outnumber the politicians by a significant margin. So if you see this and you don't know what you can do to help, start within. If you know someone who is a police officer or a member of some institution that maybe they shouldn't be, or that maybe they don't know how to exit, help them. That's how we get out. We help people get out of their complicit contributions to these broken systems. We need to start calling these systems out. And there are a lot of movements that have, but a lot of these movements have been alienating, and they have been too narrow in their scope to truly amass a wave of populist support. And I'm not trying to be critical of any specific movement right now, because there are a lot of people who have good in their heart, that's what's motivating them. And so they may be slightly misguided, but the fact that they're motivated is powerful. It says that they are looking to contribute. It says that they want to be involved. And I bet there are a lot of people who are on the sidelines right now wishing they knew how to get involved. Now is the time. Ask yourself what you can do, who you can help, what the future holds for you, how you may have been complicit, how you can stop being complicit. Nobody is innocent. We're all guilty in some capacity. The necessity for compassion is human, because human equals fallibility. If only perfect people were worthy of love, there'd be no one on the planet experiencing love. Thank you for watching. I love you. I believe in you. There is a way out. You can find it. Peace.